I want to just bring us back to the macro side of what we're talking about, the big picture here, because I think very few honourable members would disagree that economic growth in itself is a good thing. That's what any government should be looking to pursue. Economic growth creates jobs, it increases livelihoods, and makes us a wealthier country. And so having a growth plan is in itself a good thing. But I just want to really highlight three sort of challenges which I think we may be looking to face in the future. The first one of which is low pay. Unfortunately, in this country, we've got too many low productive, low paid, low skilled jobs, and too few high skilled, highly productive, highly paid jobs. And a city like Peterborough is really symbolic of that. And I think this is what this government have been trying to address, very much with the levelling up agenda that was the focus of the previous Prime Minister. And if you look at somewhere like Peterborough, this is going to involve significant investment in R&D, it's going to involve significant investment in retraining. And as I say, I think that's what this government was trying to do. In Peterborough, we've just built ourselves a university, a brand new university. And it's not any old university. This is a university which focuses on manufacturing, on engineering, and really creating an environment for all those highly paid jobs of the future. And thanks to the £25 million Living Up Fund that Peterborough has received, we're going to build ourselves a living lab next to that university, which will act as a magnet for future investment, future companies coming, and lead to those highly paid jobs of the future. It's decisions like that, Madam Deputy Speaker, that will increase the health, wealth and happiness of my city. The second challenge, I think, as a country and as an economy we face is tax. Because quite frankly, we are a highly I don't think tax is going to come down. Hopefully it's an ambition, and I confidently predict that we will be able to bring tax down in the medium term. But we're going to continue to have big spending commitments in the future. We're an ageing population, we're going to rely more on public services. And I think we find ourselves exposed to challenges such as the cost of fuel. And I think that's absolutely right, that this government has invested, has brought out the package, and is going to reduce fuel bills faced by my constituents significantly. That's fuel bills that could have been £6,500, and for a typical household it now will only be £2,500. So it was absolutely the right thing to do. I think this government also has a strong track record, of course.
Does the honourable member agree with me that the £2,500 that his constituents will now be paying, that's not a cap, and there is some sort of, misnomer around that? Does the honourable member agree with that?
Well, what I do agree with is the fact that if it wasn't for this government intervening, we would have seen prices of up to £6,000 for a typical household. Surely the honourable lady will welcome that in her constituency like mine, because of the actions of this government, families are going to save themselves a great deal of money. But I think this government has a strong track record on taking people out of tax. If you remember, the personal allowance at the start in 2010 was of such a level, it's now over 12,000. That's millions of people taken out of tax altogether, 100,000 taken out of tax altogether, and millions of families supported. That's a good thing. I think the universal credit taper, where it was reduced from 63 to 55, has been a huge lifeline for constituents and families in my constituency. It makes work pay. And Madam Deputy Speaker, that should be the focus when it comes to jobs and work. We want to reward those who take on extra hours, reward those who work, reward those who put in the effort. But as I say, the solution to tax that is higher than we would like to, and this is a challenge, the spending is going to be economic growth, because we can only make those spending commitments in the long term if we grow the economy. And it's absolutely right that we have a growth strategy and that we follow it in the way that we are. The third challenge I just wanted to mention is about positivity, because I think sometimes, especially when you're away from this place, or especially when you're away from this place, or sometimes when you're in your office, you get this kind of, I suppose, temptation to glance at your phone, to glance at Twitter, and it's all doom and gloom. And I think there's a real worry that sometimes one can scare themselves into economic difficulties. I think we need to be more positive as a country, positive about the long-term prospects of the UK economy. Last week I took what I call my heroes, the Peterborough heroes, to Westminster. I organised a reception down at Westminster. And of course, lots of people who came there were charity workers, people who've worked for particular businesses or charities or causes for a number of years. But I very deliberately, Madam Deputy Speaker, didn't just take those people who'd volunteered for their communities, as welcome and as heroic as their efforts were. I also took entrepreneurs too, because entrepreneurs create jobs. Entrepreneurs pay people. Entrepreneurs grow our economy. And I think they are just as much worth saying thank you, saying well done to, than anybody else. Business, as repeated by members opposite, I forget the honourable member's name who said this, business is not the enemy. In fact, entrepreneurs and businesses are our friends in creating economic growth. I meet people so many times in my constituency of Peterborough through the virtue of having this job as a Member of Parliament. People who are truly heroic for taking a risk, truly heroic for having an idea, truly heroic for employing people and doing the right thing. They, Madam Deputy Speaker, are my heroes just as much as any charity worker in my constituency. So those are the three challenges I would put to ministers. First, we need to solve the problem of having a low-skill, low-paid economy and turn that into a high-skill, high-paid economy. Secondly, about tax, I don't think public spending is going to decrease in the near future. We have a challenge there, but the government has a strong track record. And also, third challenge about being positive, about recognising the efforts that businessmen and businesswomen make, entrepreneurs make, that the foundations of the British economy are strong, and that we've got hard-working, talented people in this country. That should all feature in a growth plan, and that's why I support this government.
Sarah Olney.
Thank you very much.